Usui and Company. For the glorious future, leading the world in service and technology, from Japan to the world. East Japan Railway Company.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green solar power systems in Singapore.
Sistem AC ramah lingkungan di Indonesia.
Eco changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Maite Mizu.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from a studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
And these are topics for today.
In Project Japan, a business opportunity from something that hasn't changed in 30 years.
In World Business Satellite, a new moves to expand the wedding market.
Also from World Business Satellite, reviving an outdated technology.
And a Takumi, a technology to accurately print on carved surfaces. Let's get started. First up is Project Japan. Otsuda-san, what's our topic today?
Yes, today it's this we have over here.
This is a mailbox that you find in most homes in Japan. Seems like a typical one.
You're right. And here we have one of the packages used by online retailer Amazon.
Yes.
And this size is referred to as a mail delivery service size, and because this kind of package can be sent at a relatively low cost, it's used by online retailers to ship books and other small items to customers.
So you mean it's different from express delivery services that handle bigger packages that need to be signed for?
Yes, you're right.
And it's also small enough to be dropped right into the mailbox, I think.
Yes, and since you said drop right into the mailbox, if you can give it a try.
Okay.
Please.
It looks like it would fit, but actually it's too big.
It is, you're right. And it's a standard size mailbox, but it's still too small to accept these delivery packages. And this has actually been one of the blind spots in the industry. But now one small manufacturer sees a business opportunity and is reinventing the age-old mailbox. So take a look.
The Project Japan. Tokyo. A family here says it has a certain problem with their mailbox. Often not home, they are constantly having to reschedule deliveries of parcels.
Having to go back home just to wait for a package to be redelivered is stressful. And if I want to take a quick bath, I have to worry about whether I'll miss the redelivery. I just wish they would put the package into the mailbox, even if they have to force it in.
I buy a lot of things from Amazon. Same-day delivery services are convenient. But there's no point if the package doesn't reach me, even when redelivered. Maybe I'm too demanding.
With more consumers buying books and other small items online, there's been a sharp increase in parcel deliveries. But according to a survey by a mailbox manufacturer, mailboxes of 65% of households are too small to fit standard parcels. This is a post office in Tokyo. Inside, same-day delivery parcels, a major selling point for Amazon, are left sitting on this shelf. In fact, The ballooning costs of redeliveries are a major problem for post offices as well.
Amazon sends out a lot of parcels. So we have dedicated shelves here and over there. This is actually really small in terms of volume. Some of our customers tell us to force the packages into their mailbox if possible. And then there are others who complain about the contents being crushed. We do our best not to damage products. So we instruct our workers to bring parcels back when customers aren't home.
To reduce the number of redeliveries, Amazon and Japan Post recently announced a new initiative.
What's crucial is to establish a system to quickly and reliably deliver products to customers.
Partnering with a manufacturer of mailboxes, Amazon requested the development of mailboxes that could solve the redelivery problem. Homes that adopt this new mailbox are provided with a discount on the annual fee for Amazon's special membership program. The presidents of both Amazon Japan and Japan Post on one stage. And between them, the president of Nasta, a little-known mailbox maker.
No matter how fast the delivery, parcels are pushed back at the entrance of a home. We want to set up the right infrastructure as quickly as possible.
The efforts of a small company are about to transform the logistics infrastructure of Japan in a big way. Nihonbashi, Tokyo. This is the headquarters of Nasta. The company was founded in 1930 as a maker of housing equipment. Their core product is stainless steel mailboxes, which have a 40% market share in Japan for both single and multi-family homes. But with the industry standard in place for decades, no one considered changing the mailbox.
The market share of our mailboxes is reaching 40 to 50%. We didn't consider that an advantage. Prices are falling, squeezing our profits. Honestly, it was a big headache for us.
Junpei Sasagawa previously worked at a general trading firm. Invited to become a director as part of the company's management overhaul, he joined Nasta in 2008 and was appointed president last year. Soon after, he received an email from Amazon.
I got an email from an acquaintance at Amazon. He said he was really struggling with an issue and needed my help.
Mr. Sasagawa investigated and found that the opening of a standard-size mailbox is 33 centimeters by 3 centimeters. But the thickness of Amazon parcels for books and other small items is 3.5 centimeters. A difference of just 5 millimeters meant a single book had to be redelivered. Meanwhile, a parcel called a letter pack used by Japan Post is 34 centimeters wide and also too big. It fits when turned around, but sticks out and there's the risk of it being stolen.
Including Japan Post, the common understanding was that parcels could only be up to 3 centimeters thick. But no one in the industry realized that parcels sent by online retailers were 3.5 centimeters.
So a year and a half ago, Nasta launched a project team to transform the mailbox. At first glance, a mailbox may seem a simple setup. But keeping the outside measurements the same, while making it more accommodating, requires adjustments on a millimeter scale. What they came up with is this. To capture replacement demand from multifamily homes, they left the outside measurements the same, but expanded the slot. It also has a theft prevention mechanism. Taking a hint from vending machines, they attached partitions that allow the hand to be inserted, but stop contents from being pulled out. For single-family homes, an entirely new concept. By making it vertical, even large packages can be inserted without a hitch. One week before the new service was to be announced, managers from Amazon, Japan Post, and Nasta met for final discussions. Among the topics, the fact that no one had thought to tinker with mailboxes and what to call the new product.
Japan Post calls it a mailbox. Amazon calls it a post. Shouldn't we have a single name?
If you say post, it can be confused as our post office.
We call it a next generation post. What about that?
Breaking down walls between industries and meeting face-to-face may lead to the birth of new services unimaginable until now.
The president of NASTA has the mindset of continually pushing forward, and we feel a sense of mobility that's hard for us big companies to have. We need to consider what's best for all of us. We can't succeed if we did this on our own. It's by only talking with Amazon and Japan Post, 3 companies working together, that this new service can succeed.
Gyoda, Saitama Prefecture. Nasta's new mailbox was developed at this factory. The sound being heard is radio calisthenics, a daily routine of many traditional companies in Japan. While this factory is run by a company with the biggest market share in mailboxes, it is also struggling to keep up with the times. Sales have been shrinking every year.
We set a target for this year and told our employees that if we miss it, we'll close the factory. So everyone's working furiously.
Mr. Sasagawa has been asking employees to also change their mindset.
We want our quality to truly satisfy customers. I want you to make mailboxes that are unprecedented.
The president is targeting sales of $100 million in fiscal 2015. The introduction of new mailboxes is a rare opportunity for the company. Soon, suggestions for improvements started pouring in from mostly young employees. For example, conventional mailboxes were made of metal, so making them required welding robots and time. With the new products, they switched to resins, allowing assembly by hand and making the work more flexible. The mindset of employees also began to change. On this day, they are working on improving the workstations. To make assembly easier, the angle has been slightly adjusted. They encouraged employees to make improvements immediately after identifying problems. Before long, the transformation of the mailboxes had led to a new way of thinking among workers.
We changed the angle and made the lights brighter.
The factory has also invested in large-scale automation equipment costing millions of dollars. The motivation of employees has improved, and they are proactively developing other types of metal products. For example, this holder for a fire extinguisher.
As a manufacturer, we tend to become too secure and complacent. It's better not to have a factory that's not functioning effectively. What's crucial is whether you have a factory that's generating true value. If we can't do that, we're prepared to quit. We told our workers that the deadline was the end of 2014. That's why they're all working hard.
A few days later, Mr. Sasagawa visits a home builder. Daiwa Living oversees numerous rental condominiums. The president is Masaru Akashi. Mr. Sasagawa directly pitches the newly developed mailbox.
これがちょっと3色ありましてですね。あれ意外にコンパクト。そうですね。それもちょっとご説広がってこれが全部入ると。これですね。これ新しい我々の機構なんで。まあなんとか。
We managed to make something new without changing the measurements. The tenants will also be happy. We want to make changes where necessary. We want to adopt this as part of our services for tenants, especially at large-scale properties.
The company has decided to use the mailbox at a property scheduled to start construction next year. But while discussing details, he notices something.
If you make this thinner, won't it drop to the bottom? Then you can fit two. We still have time to change it.
By changing the position of the fittings, the box can accommodate 2 parcels. Mr. Sasagawa returns to his factory and immediately holds a meeting.
What do you think? It'll fit if we put it in 2 millimeters. That'll be difficult. If there's no problem storage-wise, I think it's possible.
A design change just prior to the new product announcement. But the user-focused mindset is starting to take hold within the company.
There's a change within the company, so there's an atmosphere in which we can do all kinds of work. I feel it's worth challenging myself. The direction and thinking of the company have changed drastically. The mindset is a big part. The improvement in motivation. I feel I want to give it all I can.
Mr. Sasagawa believes Japan's small and mid-sized companies can still capture new opportunities.
If managers can redefine and promote the strengths of a company and communicate better with customers, I believe there is still a lot of potential for Japanese factories.
A transformation in the mindset of employees at a small company may change not just the logistics industry, but the lifestyles of consumers.
Well, we use mailbox every day without even thinking about it. And even though there are times when it's a little bit inconvenient. No one ever thought about changing it until now.
No, it doesn't look like it, does it? And I think many manufacturers have a tendency to design and make a product to sell, often not really considering the practical issues of the consumer. So just by recognizing and resolving these issues, it's possible to develop new opportunities.
Well, we have a newly developed mailbox in the studio today, and let me try out the package again. Well, it goes in.
Smooth, isn't it?
You can't take it out this way, so it won't get stolen.
Yes, it's made that way. Yes, and this particular model is for condominiums and multi-family residences, and this one over here is for single-family homes.
It's cute. It's quite eye-catching.
It is, isn't it? And it's a vertical type, and it opens like this, and you can put your mail from here. And they say even if it rains, the contents won't get wet. And it uses a dial lock over here, so you can see it's big, and it's made easy for children to the elderly to open it. And all of these ideas were the result of the company listening to the voices of customers and other companies. And they say that they're planning to develop even more functional mailboxes in the future.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, looking at this make you realize that there are potential opportunity in even old-fashioned businesses, and it will be a good example of innovation for other industries as well.
That's true.
Let's enjoy Japan.
Wonderful.
I knew you'd like this.
You know me so well. Where to next?
Golf,
Wonderful.
Japanese garden,
That's wonderful too.
onsen with a Fujisan view.
Wonderful.
Let's go then.
いらっしゃいませ。
Wonderful.
Incredible.
Smiles ahead. Seibu Group.
Tomorrow never ends with you. With you. When the morning falls, we there so long. Well, I know we'll never.
For life's greatest moments. Bridgestone.
Az én álmaim autója, amit lerajzoltam, egy nagyon környezetvédő autó. Milyen jó lenne, ha sikerülne a megálmodott házamba költöznöm, ahol tudok kísérletezni és állatokat megfigyelni.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next up is a report from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. Well, Utsuda-san, what's the topic today?
Yes, well, today's topic is about weddings, which is a once-in-a-lifetime event for many people. And I have some data here that shows the number of marriages in Japan.
So about 650,000 couples are expected to tie the knot this year.
Yes, that's right. But a recent trend has been weddingless marriages, with couples preferring to get married without the typical ceremony or party.
Wedding-less marriage, is it that big now?
Well, according to data from the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, about half of the couples who get married are weddingless.
That's surprising. What's the reason?
Well, there are several reasons. Three major ones cited are financial, pregnancy, and dislike of formal ceremonies.
Well, seeing that the money is the biggest factor, it seems that the weak economy since the financial crisis still have a negative effect, since weddings are a big cost.
It certainly does, and the nationwide average for wedding expenses is about $30,000. And if you throw in a honeymoon into that, it costs more than $40,000.
Wow.
So, amid this, weddings in Japan are undergoing a big transformation now, and we have a report on this new trend.
Ginza, Tokyo. A new building scheduled to open its doors in late October. On the top floor is a wedding hall that has been generating interest. Dangling from the ceiling is a sparkling chandelier. The facility was constructed at a cost of about $10 million. From the windows, a bird's eye view of Ginza. The price of a wedding ceremony and banquet is about $43,000. Although not too unreasonable for the Ginza area, the cost is still much higher than the nationwide average. A splashy wedding is the theme here. The facility is run by a company called Brillia. Established in 2006, just as weddingless marriages came into vogue, they have continued to focus on weddings with all the bells and whistles.
The concept we're promoting at this place is a resort wedding in Ginza. We want to create a unique atmosphere in this special location of Ginza.
They say the reason for taking on the competition from Ginza is the changing times.
To protect our high value-added business, we've endured a lot of difficulties. And now, with the economy turning up, it's become a big tailwind for us. It's not just the number of couples. Revenue is also growing, and the interest from customers themselves has been on the rise.
This is the Oshiros, who decided to have their wedding here. It's their first visit since the facility was completed. The couple is planning an extravagant banquet for about 100 colleagues and friends. They chose a so-called splashy wedding as a way to thank their supporters.
We're trying to do the most we can within our budget.
I'm starting to feel motivated. My company is entering the second half in October, and I'm confident we can make a profit.
With business improving at his company, he expects a pay raise soon and decided to splurge a bit. And on opening day, the first couple to celebrate their wedding here is the Oshiros. Vows exchanged in the heart of Ginza. It has become a place filled with memories for this couple. According to the Health, Labor, and Welfare Ministry, 660,000 couples tied the knot last year. Half of them chose weddingless marriages because of financial and other reasons. Despite that, Brillia has been heavily promoting splashy weddings and is on track to exceed $86 million in revenue this fiscal year. Spending money to get friends and family to celebrate the wedding together. Views on this lifetime event may be changing. An apartment in Tokyo. This is the residence of the Mizushimas. The couple initially chose a weddingless marriage, but is now planning a ceremony. With financial constraints compounded by illness in the family, they decided a year and a half ago to get married without a wedding.
We talked about having a wedding one day, but we probably wouldn't have had one if it weren't for this.
An outlet mall in Shizuoka Prefecture, within view of Mount Fuji. The Mizushimas selected Japan's first wedding at an outlet to be held here. The event was arranged by a company called Crazy Wedding. So what kind of ceremony will it be?
The podium will be around here. This is where they'll stand.
The wedding venue will be this plaza. The bride and groom will sit underneath the tree in the center. A simple arrangement with just a sofa. The banquet will be inside a tent set up on the grounds of the outlet. The cost is significantly less than a typical wedding.
It's more joyful having lots of people celebrate together with you. So we're arranging this with the idea that everyone will be watching.
Couples who might have had to limit their guest list for financial reasons get the benefit of a crowd of well-wishers in the form of shoppers at an outlet mall. This format is still being tested. But Ms. Yamakawa believes people who've chosen to get married without a wedding until now will become a big target in the future.
We consider people who've already decided not to have a wedding as our customers. If we can give them the option of doing something like this, there's infinite demand for weddings.
Weddings are once again undergoing a change and giving birth to new forms of celebration.
Myanmar. Red. United. 세가의 조선. Passion. Spirit.次のプレミアムフィールドへ。
Welcome to Tokyo Skytree. This is the grand panoramic view from 450 meters. Here you experience the unforgettable. Look, enjoy, be amazed, and be awestruck. That's what Tokyo Skytree is all about.
Japan's latest landmark,
Tokyo Skytree.
Man, look at all these cars.
Hey, have you heard, by the way? The Japanese company Kobelco is working to make the world's cars lighter.
So what does that mean?
Kobelco is using aluminum and steel technologies to make car parts and bodies lighter around the world.
Ah, Japanese technology. The country of karate. Ha! Ha! Ha!
Why do we always do that?
I don't know.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Of course, a splashy wedding is nice, but having a lot of people witnessing you tie the knot at an outlet is probably a memorable event.
It would be, wouldn't it? And the Crazy Wedding which offers those fully customized weddings, is said to be gaining a lot of attention in the industry with their unconventional business model.
Yes, that's right. Well, Utsuda-san, what do we have next?
Next, yes. If you can take a look over here. Do you know what these are?
Of course I do. Videotapes and a pager.
I had to ask just in case, but for many born in the digital age, these may seem a bit alien because videotapes are a product that you could say that represent the analog age, and pagers were the big thing more than 20 years ago.
Yes, that's right. Well, video on magnetic tapes have been replaced by hard disks and other digital formats, and of course, mobile phone instead of pagers.
Exactly. Yes, but videotapes and pagers have certainly gone the way of the dinosaur, but they're still considered relatively stable technologies that are less prone to breaking down, and they have other advantages as well, and there are now moves to actually revive these so-called obsolete technologies.
Well, obsolete maybe, but mature in terms of functionality.
You could say that.
Well, do they still have applications in this digital age?
Well, actually, surprisingly, they do, and magnetic tapes such as videotapes are in fact being used by cutting-edge industries, and pagers have undergone a transformation over the last 20 years and being put to use in our daily lives. So where exactly? Take a look.
Hovering 400 kilometers above Earth is the International Space Station, or ISS. And this is the Japanese-developed experimental module, Kibo. Various experiments have been conducted on board with the massive amount of data transmitted back to Earth. That information is stored at the headquarters of JAXA, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. We were given special authorization to enter the facility.
This is the equipment. The enormous amount of data is used in R&D.
This device can store data equivalent to 30 million years' worth of newspapers. They show us one of the storage mediums. Inside a brown-colored tape. This is said to be the same magnetic tape used in cassette tapes. Why is a cutting-edge facility still using tape?
Compared to digital discs, it's a system in which the cost and time needed for repair and maintenance are lower.
The main characteristic of magnetic tape is the relatively low risk of data damage, as well as long storage life of 30 years. This tape is now staging a comeback in the cutting-edge field of aerospace science. The top market share globally in magnetic tape is held by Fujifilm. As rivals began pulling out of the market, one man continued to research the technology, Hitoshi Noguchi.
I've been involved in magnetic tape development for a long time, but honestly, I never imagined that we would be able to come up with a tape cartridge with such big storage capacity.
To enlarge the storage capacity, Mr. Noguchi set his sights on a material called barium ferrite. Through his work, a single tape cartridge now can hold data equivalent to 30,000 DVDs. Compared with a VHS tape through an electron microscope, the fineness of the particles is clear.
The world is overflowing with data. Data is now moving into the age of big data, and there's a need to store everything. I believe magnetic tape meets that need and is an effective recording medium.
Nishishimbashi, Tokyo. Here too is a company that's attempting to revive a forgotten technology. Tokyo Telemessage. This is the president, Hidetoshi Seino.
I just got a message. Can you see it? Get back to the office right away.
This company deals in the somewhat nostalgic gadget of pagers.
People told us we wouldn't be able to make any money with pagers. They couldn't understand why we kept the business going.
Currently, they have 3,000 subscribers, mainly among hospitals. The business is in the red. The reason for continuing services was the conviction of one engineer.
Pagers were built on a system that could emit extremely strong signals. And not just to one person, but to specific groups of people. The biggest attraction was this ability to broadcast information.
As a way to utilize the technology, Mr. Hase proposed that pagers become an emergency information terminal. Pagers operate on the 280 MHz frequency band. Compared to mobile phones, signals travel much better through obstacles. They decided to market the ability of devices to receive information anywhere within a building. The first to adopt the system was Chigasaki, Kanagawa Prefecture. This is an emergency information terminal with a built-in AM/FM radio costing about $100.
With the development of an emergency radio that uses the frequency band of pagers, you can listen to emergency broadcasts from the city government inside an enclosed space. Users have told us they feel more secure now.
In December 2013, the city set up 8,700 emergency radio terminals in the homes of residents primarily in those areas. So what do the people think of this new system?
It's wonderful. Whatever the situation, we can get information right away through the wireless device. I can listen to it with a sense of security.
Paging technology that was on the verge of extinction has re-emerged to support people's lives.
We do our jobs with sincerity and integrity to make a better living environment for the people and our society. Today's work, tomorrow's heritage. Shimizu Corporation.
Omron is a company like no other. It defines expectations because engineers are constantly working on something new. Machines that are attuned to the way people think and move. Therein lies technology that will one day help the future. We automate. Omron.
Because we believe cities are about people. Mori Building.
Channel Japan. Your source for the voices and views of people and businesses across Japan. The latest reports on Japanese companies, culture, and technology. Find out what's happening on the ground. Every week, direct from Tokyo, Channel Japan.
Next, we bring a segment called Takumi from Science View, a program produced by NHK that introduces the latest development in science and technology in Japan.
Takumi literally means artisan in Japanese, and it's a word often used to describe a person with exceptional skill in a certain craft or a master technician.
So what kind of artisan will we be meeting today?
Yes, today we'll be introducing a Takumi of printing technology. But let me ask you first, what comes to mind when you think of printing?
Well, newspapers, magazines, and posters.
I agree, that's what comes to my mind, and probably many people who would associate printing with printing on flat surfaces. But our Takumi this time has developed a technology to print not on flat surfaces, but curved or irregular ones.
On curved surfaces, for example?
Well, for example, eyeglass frames or smartphone covers. And until now, designs on curved or irregular surfaces had to be applied by using methods such as transfer films. But the technology we'll be seeing today allows designs to be directly printed onto objects and with a high degree of precision. So take a look.
Hi, I'm in Fukui Prefecture. Our Takumi today has come up with an innovative technology to print on various surfaces, like on the frame of these glasses. Let's go meet him. I visited a company that provides specialty printing. Today's Takumi, Koji Muraoka, runs a printing company. Muraoka developed a technology to print on curved surfaces. The design on the cell phone is printed with no distortion, even along the curves. Here we have a smartphone case. And this fishing rod, which is actually plastic. But it simulates exactly the look of bamboo, even the joints. Here's a steering wheel that looks like real wood grain. These patterns and designs don't look like they come from a printer.
Until now, the way it was done was to first print on either film or paper and then transfer it onto the items. But our technology allows printing directly onto items.
I visited the factory to find out how the printing is done. Traveling down this assembly line are cell phones. They're printed inside the machines on the right. But
I'm sorry, there are company secrets involved here, so we can't show you everything.
inside the machine, the pattern or design is first transferred onto a part called a blanket. From there, it is printed directly onto the items. What led to this invention was Muraoka's decision 25 years ago to start a new gift business to rebuild his struggling company. Guests at Japanese weddings receive sake cups. Muraoka had the idea of printing each guest's picture inside the cup. But printing companies said it couldn't be done, so he decided to do it himself.
Because I wasn't in the printing business, I didn't really know how hard it would be. So for 3 years, I worked until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Muraoka started his quest to print on curved surfaces in a prefab hut. Since printing technology was all new to him, he collected as many printers as he could get his hands on and disassembled them. One day, he noticed a very important thing. When trying to print on a curved surface, the design would always be stretched in the corners. To prevent that, the ink dots needed to be smaller and closer together. It took another 3 years of research for Muraoka to achieve dots 1/5 the usual size. His current technology uses dots 1/10 the usual size. Finally, this special technique for printing on curved surfaces was ready. Because direct printing allows the design to be positioned precisely, even parts that were printed separately align perfectly when assembled. And by printing in layers, he found a way to build up 3D designs on curved surfaces. This technique can give plastic items a luxury touch. His most recent venture is applying direct printing to electronic circuit boards and semiconductors. This sheet of film looks transparent, but under a microscope, you can see a grid pattern printed on it. By printing with a special ink that gives the lines a metal coating, the film can carry electric current.
We're pursuing further development because we believe that other products can be replaced by printed material. This includes products such as radar, absorptive materials, and heat dissipation sheets. It would not only make production of these materials cheaper, it would also make it easier. Printing is going to accomplish big things. This technology is an exciting challenge.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so don't forget to tune in next time.